Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome back to another Stardew Valley Community Let's Play. Now today is number 3 and we all know what that means. It is the first rainy day of this fabulous adventure that we're all doing together. So today is going to be, you guessed it, another fishing day. If you're not a fan of fishing, just bear with it, I promise you. It is going to open up, and it's going to open up in a magnificent way. But first, we need to get a good solid foundation. And the best way to get that done early on is to fish until you flop, and then fish some more. And that's what we're doing today. Now we got some good luck today, which is great. Not super luck, but good luck is still pretty good, no pun intended. We're going to do some catfishing now today. And this is a location I haven't really tried out that much, but it is really good if you want to get gold star catfishes instead of silver star catfishes when you're fishing them up out of the water. It's very hit and miss. Just to the right of this area, where you're very close to, Haley and Emily's house and Jodie's house. This place is perfect though. So this is going to be our very first catfish battle up day. We managed to get a treasure chest there as well, which is really good. That means we're going to get double XP for this catfish. So we're probably going to get somewhere in the marks of 74 XP. That's really nice. Now we just got to do it from that, but we'll get Clint to break it open later on. Now the gold star catfish are worth really nice money. But here's my advice for you. If you need money, go for the catfish. If you want to prioritize skill ups, go straight up to the lake and focus down the largemouth bass, the bullheads, the carps and the chubs up there. Or you can just stroll down to the beach as well. But stay away from the catfish. Because each catfish is very hard to take on. As you can see here, they're quite difficult. Each one is going to be a fierce battle. Now, it does get way easier when your fishing skill increases and your bar gets bigger. It gets trivial, believe it or not. I mean extremely trivial when you get the iridium rod and you put on a trap bobber. In terms of the general strategy, I haven't really talked about it that much, but this is what I am aiming for, or hoping to aim for in spring. I would like to get to the Desert Festival on the 15th. And if I want to increase the odds of that happening, I would like to access the bait maker as quickly as possible. But if I'm going to access that bait maker, the first thing I have to do is fix up the bridge to get into the tide pool area. Once that bridge has been fixed, hopefully, out of all the forageables we need, we're going to get 3 pieces of coral, and we're going to get 1 sea urchin. Other than that, I think it's just 3 iron bars. And you don't even have to go to the mines to get those. With all the money we're going to be making from the fish, we can very easily buy the iron ores off Clint. And if we get really lucky, we can also get iron ores inside the treasure chests here. So that might offset some of the costs. But if you're looking to get a very strong spring, I would advise to try to get that bait maker as quickly as possible. Because it is a game changer. When it comes to doing runs in spring generally, there's a lot of small little mechanics that can make huge differences. For example, if we got bubbles down here, could you imagine how many catfishes we could chain up in a single day, especially with the bait maker? You could get well over 30 catfishes. And I'm not joking. Could you imagine selling all those, the money you'd get? What's more, imagine you had a fish smoker beside that, or 2 or 3 fish smokers, and you were doubling the profit of all those catfish. That is how you make huge money in spring. It's just getting your hands on the bait maker, getting your hands on the fish smoker, and the fish smoker, you can buy that from Willie. You can get the recipe for 10,000 gold. 10,000 gold is a lot, but I guarantee you'll make your money back the next day if you invest in it. And it's pure profit after that. Now when it comes to selling fish in this game, I normally keep a good handful of chubs lying around the place, because they are one of the best fishes you can get your hands on, especially in spring, for energy. And when you're going into the mines, it's always really nice to have a couple of gold star or iridium star chubs when your energy gets low. Because sometimes I find myself going into the mines and I end up having to leave early because there is nothing I can eat to get back more energy. And if I swing the pickaxe a few more times, the character gets exhausted. So if you do get chubs today, take my advice, just put a handful aside. You'll be very grateful to have those when you finally do get into the mines and you're hitting open copper veins, iron veins, gold veins, whatever you have. Those chubs always come in super handy. In terms of what route we're going to take, some people have said Georgia, some people have said the community centre, Some people have said half and half. You know, there's different things going around the place. I still haven't decided what we're going to do. Don't be surprised if this ends up being a spring challenge. The way I play the game has changed over the years, and I've gotten to a stage now where if I don't achieve certain things within certain periods of time, I get bored. So that's why I'm doing a lot of fishing now, so that I can, you know, keep myself entertained going through this challenge. And I know a lot of people don't like Georgia, but the great thing about that route, and it's a pity you can't do it with the community centre, the great thing about the Georgia route is that all you need is money to get into Ginger Island, to get into the end game, you know, the nitty gritty of the game. So it just makes the run way more entertaining. When it comes to putting up the river fish here, the shad gives some pretty nice XP, and it's very easy to get perfect catches on the shad as well. Now most of this green algae that I'm pulling up, you can keep that if you want for the fish pond. And if you want to put your legend into the fish pond, work away. I might put mine into the fish pond. I'll see how I'm getting on. If I need the extra funds to push for Early Skull Cavern, I might just smoke it up. But it's very early days yet. Over the past few days, I have been messing around with farm types. And I started a new challenge on the Four Corners farm. And it's an absolutely amazing farm. It has lots of hardwood. It even has some nodes down at the bottom right. And on day one, I was given access to the likes of copper, which was amazing, because that gave me the furnace recipe the next day. Now, I ended up playing the whole month of that file, but it was a very weak run, so I deleted it. But I got all the way to Ginger Island, got up to the summit, was fishing up lava eels, but I didn't get enough money to pay the Georgia parrots to get all the golden walnuts to get the keys, secret walnut room. But I do think going forward, the best farm type you could have for spring, now I'm talking about spring only, would be the Riverlands farm, because you get the fish smoker. And if you went to Georgia route heavily, you would have access to the greenhouse, which gives lots of crop space, but also Ginger Island. So you've got more than enough space to get your farming skill to level 10 before you get into summer. Because if you think about it, right, to go from level 0 to level 10 farming, I think you need something like 850 or 860 kale, but I'd buy a full stack just in case, because you don't want to waste resources on scarecrows. So if you buy 999, you've got more than enough to get max level, even if the crows come along and they pick up a few pieces of kale here and there. So I always get a full stack, and I think that comes to something like 63 or 65,000 gold. If you get your hands on a bait maker and fish smoker very, very early in spring, that 60-odd thousand gold becomes absolutely trivial to get. Especially if you get a good rainy day and you pull up loads of catfishes. It's just so easy, it's too easy. That is the power of fishing. And that's the point I kind of want to get across in this video, you know? I want to show you all my fishing attempts, what the catfishes are worth. We've got 5 catfish there now at the moment. I could have got way more today, but I wanted to focus more on skill ups. So I'm going to sell the catfish. We'll get some money for that, great. But we also want to max out our fishing skills as quickly as possible, so we can get the angler, fish work 50% more, then the big money comes in. You would not believe some of the things I have gotten out of these trash cans. Sometimes Gus can have absolutely amazing foods of the day, and sometimes, if you're really lucky, you can get his food of the day out of that trash can, which is really nice. The Mullner's there, sometimes you can get cookies from that. Cookies are absolutely amazing for energy, so always check the trash cans when you're going from your farmhouse down to the beach. Now, I don't have enough wood to fix up that bridge yet, but I just wanted to have a quick little look to see if anything else spawned. I can't see the whole area of the tide pools, so I don't know if there's a sea urchin there or not. But just so we're on the same page, I have until Saturday to access that area and get the forages within, because after Saturday, all of the forageables will reset. Once Sunday comes in, that's technically a new week, everything resets. So we have a good few days to cut down a couple more trees, get to 300 pieces of wood, and go into the tide pool area. So there's no panic at all. And we don't even have level 6 fishing at the moment, so we can't even make the bait maker. That's why I held off on the wood. Now today is going to be one of these days. It's 2 o'clock right now. Clint closes at 4 o'clock. If this was a serious challenge, you can bet your uncle I'd be restarting today. But look, we're not doing that, okay? So I'm going to buy copper ores off Clint anyway, just to get the copper bars ready. We can always do the tool upgrade the next day. Just because you don't get the tool into Clint on the 3rd doesn't mean your run is going to be ruined. It just means you have an extra day of fishing. So on the 5th, when you go into the mines, you'll get that day back on the day later on that you were going to use that day to fish. So it evens out at the end. The main thing is, and here's the critical bit for the very successful spring, the main thing is you have your steel pickaxe by the 15th, you have your mining skill of 6 so you can make bombs, and if you can, get your combat skill to 5 so you get that 10% attack power increase, because that 10% makes a big difference. And if you have the funds, get yourself a ruby ring from the Adventurers Guild to increase your attack power by a further 10%, because all those percentages would stack on top of each other. And before you know it, what might take 5 swings or 7 swings to kill an enemy takes 3 swings or 4 swings. So you end up going through the Skull Caverns way faster. Now we're going to stay up at the lake here for the whole day. We have brought up our furnace and we have 25 copper ores. So we're literally just going to fish now for the rest of the day, and we're going to be smelting up our copper ores into copper bars as we go on. And all of the fishies that we get today now, we're not going to sell them via the shipping bin. We'll sell them directly to Willie the next day, because we should get fishing skill of 5 today, so we'll get that extra 25%. And if you have huge amounts of fish saved up, that 25% goes a long way. That 25% will get you backpack upgrades. It'll get you additional tool upgrades. We're just over halfway there to level 5 fishing, which is great. We'll absolutely hit level 5 today. So we are going to unlock that powerful fishing perk. The big question is, can we get to level 6 today as well? A lot of it comes down to how many perfect catches we can chain up, if we're going to get bubbles, how often the fish are going to bite. We are using bait at the moment, and because our fishing skill is much higher now, we should be getting bites in very quick succession. Now when it comes to doing challenges like this, you would not believe the kind of things you can get in spring, but a lot of it comes down to the travelling cart. So here's a great tip for you. If the travelling cart is ever selling a midnight carp, buy it straight away. If you get the midnight carp, okay, do yourself a favour, go down to the ocean and fish up a flounder, okay? Then go to the mines and try to find one of those ball type enemies that, you know, throw the fireballs at you. There's a chance when you beat one of those they will drop a squid ink. If you cook up the midnight carp, the squid ink and the flounder, you'll make yourself a seafoam pudding. You can take this further. If you take that seafoam pudding, right, if you just leave the recipe as scratch and you go to Ginger Island and you fish up lava eels and you get huge amounts of money and you purchase the Joja part to find all the golden walnuts and you buy key seasoning, you can very easily in spring get yourself key seasoned seafoam pudding. And here's one more for you. If the travelling cart does not give you access to the midnight carp, guess what, folks? You can get the midnight carp over on Ginger Island at night time. You can fish it up, no problem at all, over at the dig site. So if you want the absolute best fishing has to offer in spring, you can actually get yourself a key seasoned seafoam pudding. A lot of it comes down to how effective you are in Skull Caverns, how many iridium bars you can get to pay the Joja parrots, or how good you are at lava eel fishing. And if you're good at both, money will not become a problem. But because there's only 28 days in spring, you need to be making big gains towards the start. And once you kind of get the fishing level 5, especially level 6 when you can make the bait maker, that's when it all starts to happen. There's a few other things as well that I want to try in this run. So a lot of these things are going to be just me testing things out, see how effective they are. Sometimes Marcelo will visit. He visits twice in the season, and you can buy books of power off him. but you can also buy skill books off him. And sometimes he will sell a combat quarterly, okay? If you were to buy that book off him for about 4 or 5,000 gold, you can trade it back to him for the monster musk. There you go. Now, could you imagine activating the monster musk and wiping out dust sprites for the whole day, and you were able to nab yourself a very early burglary, and you got the monster compendium on top of that? These are just all branching options based on what items you might get. So it's all RNG based. And there's so many different routes you can take in spring. I would be just hours upon hours talking about it to you. And even though I did say the Riverlands farm might be the best farm, you don't get much hardware on that farm. So there's a pro and a con to everything that you do. And the greatest thing about spring challenges is that you only have 28 days. So it doesn't take that long to just tear through 1 month to see how well you did. Unless you were very critical on yourself and you were just resetting days until you got really, really good results. So we just nabbed our fishing skill of 5 there, which is great. That means all the fish we sell from tomorrow will be worth 25% more. That's a huge boon now for us. Money is just so important at the start. So at the rate we're going to be giving Clint our pickaxe on day number 4, okay? That means we're not going to have it on day number 5 or day number 6, but day number 4 counts as 1 day. So even though it says it takes 3 days for him to upgrade your axe, the day that you give him the tool also counts as a full day, which is great. So technically it's only really 2 additional days. If you are going to max out all your skills in spring, it's quite doable. But what you really want to be aiming for there is an axe upgrade straight after your pickaxe upgrade. And then you upgrade the pickaxe again to steel, and then the axe to steel, and then you go all the way with the axe to iridium. That's the best approach in my opinion. Now we're doing very well with bubbles today. We're chaining up some perfect catches, which is great. Some of the chubs are still kind of outsmarting us. Just like that. We were so close to getting the perfect catch there. That would have been a 34 XP instead of a 17. So you can probably tell, especially by looking at my fishing bar, when it comes to getting much higher skins, for example 6, maybe even a 7, you need to be getting constant perfect catches. There are things we can do, of course, to increase the odds of getting perfect catches. One would be making our fishing bar bigger. So we could have bought more trout suits off Willy. The +1 skill does go a long way. Now when it comes to lake fishing in general, chub, the bullhead and largemouth bass will always most of the time take off from the get-go. So you can tell by looking at this fish that it's a carp, because it's barely moving. The bullhead will move upwards, then it will either spurt up, it will either spurt down, or it just won't move at all. So you have at least 3 possibilities there with the bullhead. The largemouth bass can be very easy, but also it can be very difficult to perfect catch. You'll have no problem catching it. Sometimes you can get a difficult largemouth bass. Chubs can also be very hit and miss. Sometimes you can get the easiest chub in the world, other times it will just bounce all over the place. But that's the beauty of this game. You don't know what's going to happen with it. You could get 5, 10 easy largemouth basses or chubs in a row. Now the reason why I'm fishing down here is because I can cast into deeper water. You don't really get the benefits if you fish up there where the islands are. Because I'm fishing out here, if I get a perfect catch more times than not, I will get an iridium quality fish. So it matters how far out you cast your rod from land. When you get access to the mines, you can get access to some very interesting fishing areas. Specifically, floor number 20. Now that floor isn't fully ripe with fish. More times than not you'll get trash. You will occasionally get the odd ghost fish here and there. And on the rare occasion, you will pull up a fish known as the stonefish. Now the stonefish sell for way more than the catfish, and they're not as hard to catch, but they're rare. You could use the bait maker, and that would increase the odds of getting stonefish. And if you really wanted to, I'm talking about, it's almost as good as cheating, but it's not cheating. You could reset your day over and over again until RNG favours you with the bait, and you end up getting loads of stonefish. Now it might take a lot of resets, but if you had a bait maker and a smoker and you got loads of stonefish, you'd come out with huge amounts of money, because they go for so much. If you wanted to go even further, and you made it down to floor 100, you could try your hand with lava eels. They're in a whole different level. One lava eel is worth well over 1300 gold. You smoke that up, you've got huge amounts of money. Now even with bait, the lava eels are quite rare in floor 100, but they're much more common in the summer than Ginger Island. But even though they're quite rare in floor 100, there's nothing stopping you fishing there for the whole day, resetting, trying again, until you end up getting 5 of them or even 10 of them. And you might think to yourself, 10? That's impossible. Trust me when I say this. You go down there at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning with your bait maker, and if you can just catch one, fire in some bait, just try to keep catching them over and over again, even without bait, if you just fish there for the whole day, chances are you'd get a good amount of lava eels. But what you'd also get would be a good amount of cave jellies. Just remember, can't get cave jellies in the summit in the volcano. But floor 100 is a really good place for that. So even if you're not getting lava eels, you're getting huge amounts of trash, but you're also getting cave jellies. And guess what? That trash is valuable. Make a few recycling machines, recycle the trash, you're going to get back wood, coal, very important. And if you're very lucky, if you put in a newspaper, you'll get back some cloth. That says a lot of money too. So everything has a silver lining, I suppose, the point I'm trying to make with that. So when it comes to getting the most out of spring, a lot of it is up to your patience. If you really, I mean really wanted to min-max the absolute stuff out of this thing, yeah, just hit 100. Just put on a good show for yourself though, because you need a lot of patience. A lot of patience for it. But think about it. Imagine you pulled up 10 lava eels and you smoked those things up. I mean, good luck. You'll dominate spring. Every time 10 minutes go past in this game, something can happen. So it's 11:30 right now. I want you to focus on that time. I'm going to attempt to catch a fish here, okay? This is just so you get a better understanding of how the game mechanics work in this game. Think of it as the clock in the Hunger Games. You know, when the clock goes around, different things happen. It's now 11:40, right? And I'm going to put up this fish. Once it hits 11:50, boom. You just see that bubbles appear. So if mini events are going to happen, it will never happen in between a 10-minute transition. If something is going to happen, it's when the next in-game 10 minutes load in. And that comes in very handy if you're trying to do very specific things. Especially if you're panning. If you don't get a panning spot when it goes, for example, 20 to 12:30, you have to wait those 10 in-game minutes to get another chance. So I'm pretty sure this game has some sort of a program or something under the hood where there's a chance that RNG dictates what's going to happen when that 10 minutes moves, or if something is set to happen at a certain time. And the great thing about doing the resets is that if you play through a whole day and you know when these things are going to happen, you can plan your day out way better. That's why when it comes to some of these big min-max challenges, you kind of have to do their resets, because it's kind of like the first day is you're scouting around the place to see what's going on with it. And then you're resetting and you're going back through it again, and you know when the bubble's going to happen, you know what's where, what forageables are where, and you can play way more effectively. So there's just so many ways you can play this game. You don't even have to play that way. Stardew Valley caters to the people that don't want a challenge, just want to sit down and relax, but it also caters to the people that love a challenge. That's why this game hasn't died over the years. It's just a fantastic game. Now, we're into the early hours of the morning. More than likely we're going to pass out. But we got lots of good stuff today now, in all fairness. Because it's 20 past 1 and because I was getting bubbles, I said to myself, you know what, I've got 888 gold. I'm just going to pass out. What's the harm? What's the worst that can happen? I get billed, what, 80 gold, 80 something gold? You know? It's not going to ruin me. And if I can get a few more bubbles in before it gets to 2 o'clock, fantastic. Now we're going to end up making loads of money from this, because all we've been doing today, to be honest, all we've been doing since we got the fishing rod is fishing, you know. But in all fairness, the mines haven't opened up just yet, so what else can you be doing? As we can see, we've got emeralds. We have got 4 lake jellies. which is pretty cool. But if you spent the whole day fishing in one place, you're going to end up with that many jellies anyway. We might switch it up eventually and fish down at the beach for the whole day, so we can get some ocean jellies or sea jellies, whatever they're called. And then we might go to the mines in the future and we'll try to get some cave jellies there. Before you know it, we can bang out 2 or 3 fish smokers and away we go. So we're going to get level 5 fishing. We will take Fisher 25% more. We're going to put all the fish now that we want to sell to Willie into our inventory, so when we wake up the next day we'll have those fish. So I just want to thank everyone now for watching these Let's Plays. Thanks so much. I'm really enjoying them myself. It's really nice to just play through a day and not have to edit it. Bar the voiceover, of course. So thanks again everyone for watching. Hopefully we get far with this. And for now, I hope you enjoy your weekend. I'll see you very soon.